Welcome, my friends. What if I told you that the man who created Hyundai, one of the biggest car companies in the world, once worked on muddy fields with no shoes, never went to college, and was so poor he couldn't even afford a train ticket? He ran 120 kilometers on foot just to chase a dream. This is not fiction. This is real. Today you will hear the story of a boy who had nothing and built everything. A boy with no money, no education, no power. But one decision that changed his life forever, the decision to never stop trying. This story will not just inspire you. It will teach you how to fight when life hits you hard, how to believe when others don't believe in you, and how to stand alone when the world shuts the door. And yes, it will also make your English more powerful, because you aren't just reading English. You are feeling English. The year is 1915. In a small, poor village in North Korea, long before Korea was divided, a boy named Chung Ju-yong was born into a family of rice farmers. They lived in a straw roof house, ate simple meals, and sometimes didn't have enough to eat. As the eldest son, Chung worked every day from a young age, carrying water, cutting grass for cows, planting rice, with no shoes, no toys, and no time to dream. His father was strict and believed that a farmer's son must be a farmer, that dreaming was a waste of time. But little Chung was different. Even as a child, he looked at the mountains and wondered, is this all life has to offer? At 14, he tried to escape to school, hoping to study and become a teacher. But his father dragged him back home and ordered him to stop dreaming because dreams didn't feed hungry mouths. But something in Chung refused to die. A few years later, he tried again. He left home with a little money and a huge dream. He wanted to go to Seoul, but he couldn't afford a train ticket, so he did the unthinkable. He ran 120 kilometers, barefoot, hungry, but unstoppable. In Seoul, he worked at a construction site from sunrise to sunset, carrying bricks and mixing cement. His hands bled, his back hurt, but every night he whispered to himself, one day, I won't just build houses. I will build something much bigger. After months of saving, he opened a small rice shop with a partner, but the partner stole all the money and disappeared. Most people would have returned to their village defeated, but not Chung. He wiped his tears and said, money can be taken, but not my fire. He started from zero again, doing any job he could, delivering salt, fixing bicycles, cleaning shoes, watching, listening, learning how people think and how business works. By the 1940s, he opened his own small construction business. Korea was broken after war and occupation, with ruined roads and destroyed buildings. But where others saw ruins, Chung saw opportunity. In 1946, he officially started his company and named it Hyundai, meaning modern. A boy from rice fields dared to name his company after the future. He took big risks, hired smarter people, visited every construction site himself, and demanded strength, quality, and honesty. When the Korean War broke out in 1950, most businesses collapsed, but Chung didn't run. He believed Korea would need to rebuild, and he would be the one to do it. Hyundai helped rebuild bridges, roads, and essential infrastructure. His workers rebuilt their own homeland, their own future. In the 1960s, when the government challenged him to build a bridge across the Han River, everyone laughed. Hyundai had never built a bridge before. He had no engineering degree. But Chung believed that if you never take big projects, you stay small forever. He built the bridge in just 4 months, shocking the world. From that moment, Hyundai became a name of trust. Then, he set his eyes on shipbuilding. South Korea had no technology, no history in shipbuilding, nothing. People called him crazy, but he traveled abroad, learned, partnered with experts, and built a giant shipyard in Ulsan. By 1974, Hyundai launched its first major ship and rose to become one of the world's top shipbuilders. But Chung wasn't done. He wanted Korea to build its own cars. Everyone said Koreans couldn't build cars, was something only rich nations could do. But Chung believed otherwise. He traveled to Britain and hired top engineers, built a team of experts, and gave them one mission: build history. They worked in a simple warehouse, failed hundreds of times, and kept trying. Finally, In 1975, Korea's first national car was born, the Hyundai Pony. It wasn't fancy, but it was Korean, and it made people believe in themselves. When Hyundai entered the global market, rivals laughed. They called Hyundai cars toys. But Hyundai kept improving. The first years were a mix of success and mistakes, and customers complained. Newspapers criticized them. Sales dropped. But Chung refused to stop. Instead of running away, he rebuilt Hyundai from the inside. Better materials, better engines, better testing. And slowly, Hyundai rose from cheap to reliable to one of the world's best. By the 1990s, Hyundai was everywhere, building highways, power plants, nuclear stations, ports, trains, refineries, industrial parks, even Korea's satellite launch site. Hyundai was no longer just a company, it was a national identity. It created hundreds of thousands of jobs and lifted families out of poverty. And through all of this, Chung remained humble, walking through factories in his gray suit and white helmet, talking to workers, asking questions, still dreaming like that barefoot boy. In his 80s, he shocked the world again by visiting North Korea with 500 cows as a symbol of peace and forgiveness. It opened a door between the two Koreas. In 2001, he passed away at age 85. South Korea mourned. Workers cried. Rivals paid respect. Because Chung Ju-yong was not just the founder of Hyundai, he was the man who proved that you don't need a degree, money, or permission to change the world. He built an empire from dust, and today, Hyundai cars drive across the world because of one boy's fire. His legacy continues through Hyundai Motor Company, Hyundai Heavy Industries, Hyundai Engineering and Construction, Hyundai Steel, Hyundai Mobis, Hyundai Rotem, and many others, each carrying the spirit of a man who refused to stay small. And his message remains: never be satisfied, never stop building, never stop dreaming. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that don't just teach English, but change your perspective. See you in the next one.